Well, this month, I think at least this council meeting tomorrow is pretty light. We have a few items to finish up of our committee appointments. And we also have the resolution or proclamation that Councilman Keller had talked about, which declaring the city's intolerance for for hatred and bigotry, and something that was brought forward to the council by a constituent. And so we're now finally have that put together, and that'll be on the agenda for tomorrow. So it's a pretty light in the beginning of the month. And there's always the ongoing events. You've got community events. We've got ongoing items. I think the big thing about February is the kickoff of our budget season. We had our first budget committee hearing. We had a first study session where all of our commissioners participated with the council just to begin to get the high-level budget proposal. And so that was the big part of this month, I think. Budget looks like it's on track. Projections are being met. Projects seem to be online. We'll know more as revenue actually gets calculated. And each commission will have their own review. So Parks Commission will probably have a more obviously parks-driven presentation. Planning Commission, Arts Commission, they'll all have their opportunities to review and comment on the budget before it comes to the full council for approval. So it's, like I said, it's still early, but that's what I love about this city is our staff is really focused on making sure that our budget is on time, on balance, and that represents the values of the city. And that preceded my coming on the council. So as I understand, a request was made either probably late last year, and Councilman Keller kind of took the lead on that, and now kind of working through the holidays and the procedures of the city and the council. It's now on the agenda. I think we're always going to be cautious, and certainly when you have a turnover in the administration, whether it be federally or even here in California, there's going to be new folks who are going to have a different perspective, who are going to look at issues differently. So I think as many roadblocks, steps we can take, to really ensure that deal is done, the better. And so I think we're taking that up, kind of on the consent item, just to be in support of, Senator Wilk's legislation. But I have not heard of any reports of anything new. But again, as we're in the season now where key folks are getting appointed to federal posts and administrative posts, so now's the time for us to continue our action and not to step back, not to hold back, but to keep going until we know for sure that project's officially dead. It's important to just really keep focused on the budget. That's really in my focus for the next several months, because I'm my first time back on the council in a decade. So it's important for me to really get in the weeds and make sure I understand the budget. So before we approve it, I feel like I've got a good grasp of it, and that we're approving something that reflects the values of the city. Last council meeting where we approved all of our committee assignments, I had asked the council to create a new ad hoc committee to address the issue of homelessness here in Santa Clarita. And because you've got Measure H coming up next month, so you've got a ballot initiative. And I think it's important that we recognize that homelessness is an issue, not just countywide, but certainly here in Santa Clarita. And by creating a council committee, it's my view that it would kind of serve as a catch-all or a repository for all the activities that are going on, that it can be in kind of one central place through the council committee, so that we can work with the nonprofits, other governments, even the private sector, so that we can come up with a Santa Clarita solution to the homeless issue. Because you can't have a one-size-fits-all. What the needs are in Los Angeles or the Antelope Valley are going to be different than the needs we have in Santa Clarita on all issues, including homelessness. So I want to use this committee as a way to develop a policy and a plan that is Santa Clarita specific to address the needs that our homeless population has, and also provide some assurances to the residents and the concerns that they've brought to us about the homeless population.